They're framing this whole thing as a way to push back against President Trump, someone she's clearly not a huge fan of.
He's just a vile creature. The worst thing on the face of the earth. But anyway.
You think he's the worst thing on the face of the earth?
I do, yeah. I do.
Why is that?
Because he's the President of the United States and he does not honor the Constitution of the United States. In fact, he's turned the Supreme Court into a rogue court. He's abolished the House of Representatives. He's chilled the press. He's scared people who are in our country legally.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
About Nancy Pelosi?
Nancy Pelosi's retirement.
I think she's an evil woman. I'm glad she's retiring. I think she did the country a great service by retiring. I think she was a tremendous liability for the country.
And on Dick Cheney.
I thought she was an evil woman who did a poor job, who cost the country a lot in damages and in reputation. I thought she was terrible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you.
Boy. So we got to talk about nasty Nancy Pelosi, who is finally calling it quits. She is retiring. Thank God, right? That this woman is finally leaving the House, okay? She is a prime example of what happens when you do not have term limits, right? We do not have age limits, which we desperately need in Congress. We allow these skeletons to stay in office forever, and it is long past due for her to quit, right? And that is what she is doing. She made an announcement that she's now retiring from Congress.
The former House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, announcing today that after nearly 4 decades in Congress, she will not seek re-election next year, a decision that was made on the heels of her party's sweeping victories on Tuesday. First elected to Congress in 1987, Pelosi established herself as one of the most powerful figures in Democratic politics. And in 2007, she made history as the first ever female Speaker of the House.
Tonight, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of my own as the first president to begin the State of the Union message with these words: Madam Speaker.
She is known for her sharp negotiating skills, political shrewdness. The 84-year-old guided her party through 4 presidential administrations. You may remember this moment. She ripped up a copy of President Trump's State of the Union address, perhaps one of a number of legacy-defining moments.
Mr. President, please don't characterize the strength that I bring to this meeting. An impeachment is not a pleasant experience, but the president gave us no choice. There is a domestic enemy in the White House. That is why I want you, my fellow San Franciscans, to be the first to know. I will not be seeking re-election to Congress. With a grateful heart, I look forward to my final year of service as your proud representative.
Yeah. So you see that, you heard that, okay? Nancy Pelosi is retiring, okay? And I'm not going to do a video about her career, her legacy, because I think that the woman was a bad woman, right? I think that she passed bad policies. She may have been an effective policymaker for Democrats, but she, in my opinion, was a pain in the ass for conservatives and Republicans. And again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend as if, you know, she was an amazing person, like, for example, Marjorie Taylor Greene did on CNN for whatever reason.
I will praise Nancy Pelosi. She had an incredible career for her party. I served under her speakership in my first term of Congress, and I'm very impressed at her ability to get things done. I wish we could get things done for our party like Nancy Pelosi was able to deliver for her party. So I wish her well in her retirement. But I would like to see people exit Washington a lot sooner rather than wait until their 80s.
Yeah, I think I like Scott Jennings' take on CNN a lot better than Marjorie Taylor Greene's take, to be honest with you.
Many of them, she made them really angry, but at the end of the day, there was often grudging respect for some of the things that skills that she brought to the table.
Oh, yeah. You know, there were people who respected her legislative ability and, you know, being a political boss. I mean, she was the boss of her conference.
Nancy D'Alessandro.
And you know, there is, you know, for political operators, a lot of respect for that. I tell you this, I don't know how much we raised over the years off of sending out fundraising appeals based on Nancy Pelosi but it was a metric butt ton. I'm telling you right now, putting Nancy Pelosi in fundraising mail or fundraising emails would always produce. And by the way, it's not often that someone can become a titan of both Washington and Wall Street. Republicans will remember her as one of the most successful and prolific day traders. She beat the S&P 500 by 559% in her stock portfolio. She's worth a lot of money. She did an amazing job. So what a blow for the financial houses today on Wall Street. I'm sure they're mourning.
Just getting in an elbow, right?
Yeah, really trying to get in some opposition research.
That's a classic Scott Jennings, by the way. Like, I'm beginning to view what you just did there as like the Scott Jennings on TV.
I want Trump to put her in charge of the Social Security Administration. We could all retire in 6 months if we let this lady manage our portfolios.
Do you know what I think is, for me, was,
Yeah, and that could be the real reason why MTG admires Nancy Pelosi so much, because I think that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nancy Pelosi, I think they both have the best performing portfolios in Congress, right? I mean, if you guys didn't know, Marjorie Taylor Greene's portfolio performs pretty good, right? I mean, she's basically outperforming hedge fund managers, right? Just like Nancy Pelosi, right? For whatever reason.
To put a ban on stock trading for members of Congress is even a thing is because of Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she is rightfully criticized because she makes, I think, $174,000 a year, yet she has a net worth of approximately $413 million. In 2024, Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio, this was a fascinating statistic to me, grew 70% in 1 year in 2024, and her portfolio outperformed every single large hedge fund in that same year, and even more than doubled the returns of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. So I think the president stands with the American people on this. He doesn't want to see people like Nancy Pelosi enriching themselves.
So that could be why Marjorie Taylor Greene admires Nancy Pelosi so much. I don't know, right? But what I do know is that President Trump dropped a truth bomb on Nancy Pelosi's retirement. As you guys saw at the beginning of this video, he did not hold back words, right? He gave her the exact same smoke that she recently gave him in an interview on CNN when she called President Trump a vile human being. And President Trump said that she's evil, right? And MSNBC got triggered by President Trump and his comments on Nancy Pelosi because the truth triggers the mainstream liberal media. Take a look.
The president was just asked about her in the Oval Office, Jake, and he said she did the country a great service by retiring, and then he called her an evil woman.
She is, well, Trump, God, we need like an hour for this. Trump was never really able to battle Pelosi. And we wrote this in our midday edition. He is one of many men who Pelosi has bested over her 38-year career in Congress. A litmus test for me always is on Capitol Hill, and Marjorie Taylor Greene said this today also. She is the most efficient congressional leader of either party that we've seen. Doesn't mean you have to like her policies. You don't have to like her. You don't have to think, she's nice. Whatever you think of her, she is the most effective and efficient congressional leader that I've ever covered, and was able to barrel through dozens of huge bills, small bills during her time, her 2 tenures as Speaker. Dozens is probably short. Many, many bills. And I can't tell you, Katie, how many Republicans have said it. MTG said this today. How many Republicans have said they wish they had a speaker like Nancy Pelosi, who is as powerful and as effective as Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would agree with the characterization that Nancy Pelosi bested Trump because, I mean, the impeachments against Trump failed, right? Like, what are you talking about? Like, she tried to impeach the guy. She tried to have him removed from office, and that failed, right? President Trump is also back in office, right? If Nancy Pelosi was so effective against Trump, then he wouldn't be in office right now. I think President Trump being in office is an example of Nancy Pelosi failing, right? She failed, okay, in her battle against President Trump. Again, the 2020 election was basically shenanigans, and also on top of that, COVID. Had it not been for COVID and the shenanigans, Trump would have won that election, in my opinion. Or put it this way, Biden would not have been put in office, okay? So, yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, man, I don't really have that much to say about Pelosi because ultimately, for me personally, I'm not going to sit here and pretend as if her being a woman or her, having a long career is something that should be praised or whatever. I really don't give a damn, to be honest with you. I don't care. I feel like President Trump, okay? I feel that she's corrupt. I think that she's evil. I don't think she's a good person. And I think that her impact on this country has been a net negative. I don't care about the woman stuff. I don't care about all of the stuff that the mainstream media is going to talk about. They're going to sit around and kiss her ass all day. But to me, in my mind, again, I believe that this woman was responsible for what happened on January 6th. Okay, and that's part of the reason why I don't think that anybody in good faith can actually pretend as if this woman is a good woman, because she will literally do anything for power, for control, again, including allowing a protest to get out of control at the White House in order to stick it to Trump. Just like she did when she supported the BLM riots, the Antifa riots, the Roe v. Wade riots. Again, these are the type of people that supported chaos and destruction in this country for their own political gain. They're not good people, and they should not be praised as good people or celebrated.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient resources.
That is not a question of how they had been. They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more.
Congresswoman Pelosi, are you at all concerned that the new January 6th committee will find you liable for that day? Are you at all concerned about the new January 6th committee finding you liable for that day? Why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American people want to know. We still have questions. Thank you.
Yeah, so with that being said, we got to talk about who is most likely to succeed Pelosi in the House, okay? Because there are a few candidates that we got to talk about here, okay, that could possibly take her place. Like, for example, I think the front runner here is progressive Connie Chan, who has represented District 1 in the San Francisco Board of Supervisors since 2021 and chairs its Budget and Finance Committee. Now, Pelosi, again, this is the person that a lot of people are thinking that she's going to endorse. She's going to hand the keys to this woman. And as you can imagine, she is a far-left lunatic that is soft on crime. Take a look.
We covered the deadly beating of a Richmond's district store clerk last August. Johannes Tewaldi was killed trying to stop a theft. Late last month, a 22-year-old man was arrested after he slashed the tires of almost 24 cars near 12th and Anza. Those are just some examples. Andrea Nicano talked to a community leader who'd been helping people bolt their garages and secure their homes. He says Connie Chan has been absent for almost all of the neighborhood's recent public safety meetings.
Mark Dietrich is trying to make his community safer one step at a time. He's seen too many of his neighbors call it quits in the Richmond.
Everybody is one incident away from, like, I've had it, I'm leaving, I'm out of San Francisco. And when they leave, we lose what makes San Francisco amazing, which is its people.
You can see the issue of public safety and how to improve it is a contentious one during this media event Friday held by Supervisor Connie Chan.
Public safety is a critical issue that we're facing, not just in San Francisco. Why did you say you want to dismantle SFPD? Because Connie, people, look at these people. They can't even let me talk because they're too afraid. If I actually start talking, then I will actually be able to tell the truth about the fact that these people are playing politics with public safety.
Supervisor Chan is running for re-election this November, where public safety is the main focus. Chan, surrounded by business leaders, demanded more resources for her community from Mayor London Breed and Police Chief Bill Scott.
Look, we have a lot of issues facing the Richmond, and the issues that we face, it's very much the same the rest of the city face. And at the end of the day, doesn't the buck stop actually with the mayor? And so when we are pleading for resources and help for public safety, as we have done again and again, the question is, where is the mayor?
Mayor Breed's office issued a scathing statement saying Supervisor Chan hasn't asked for a meeting to talk about public safety in the Richmond.
And then we have California State Senator Scott Wiener, who is super pro LGBTQ, right? He's fought for trans surgeries for children and for trans kids to escape red states, to run away from their parents and to seek sanctuary in blue states like California so that they can get trans surgeries, right? He's also fought for trans kids in school to be able to essentially hide their identities from their parents.
We are always there for these kids. These are our kids, and we need to make sure that we are lifting them up and giving them a path to success. So we are working very hard to make that happen. And because we now, and this shows that representation matters, 10% of the California legislature is now LGBTQ, 12 out of 120. And we need to be paying attention to what's happening to trans kids and their parents in Texas. The governor and attorney general of Texas, right-wing Republicans, are literally threatening to arrest the parents of trans kids for helping those kids get gender-affirming health care, and are threatening to actually take those kids away and put them in foster care. We need to send a strong message to trans kids in Texas that we have their backs, that they have a strong community around them. We're putting links in the comments about what you can do to support trans kids and their parents in Texas. We have to push back hard.
We know that the sex offender registry contains a massive array of crimes, including, I don't know, having sex in a car or in a park. That gets you on the sex offender registry. We also know that LGBTQ people have been massively and disproportionately targeted and subjected to being slammed onto the sex offender registry. That's the whole history of the sex offender registry. So this aspect of the bill is incredibly overbroad and discriminatory.
And then we have the Zohran Mamdani clone who worked for AOC as the chief of staff.
Nancy Pelosi just announced that she's retiring after nearly 40 years in Congress. And whether you love her or disagree with her, you've got to admit, she's shaped American politics for an entire generation. And now she's doing something really rare in Washington, making room for the next generation. I'm Shoykat Chakrabarty, and for the last 10 months, I've been running for Congress to represent San Francisco. And for the last 10 years, I've been working on the policies and the campaigns to make our city and our country more affordable. I was the director of organizing technology for Bernie Sanders in 2016, and after that, I started a group called Justice Democrats that was recruiting candidates all around the country. We recruited AOC to run, and I ran her campaign in 2018, and then after she won, I was her chief of staff, where I was in charge of writing and launching the Green New Deal. This moment demands leaders who won't just manage a broken system, but who are ready to rebuild it. Leaders who are gonna swear off corporate money and lobbyist money and commit themselves fully to the sweeping changes we need to finally build an economy that works for everybody. That's why I'm running, and if any of that resonates with you, I need you to run too. Because as Nancy Pelosi said, no one gives you power. You have to take it. This is the end of an era, but it's also the beginning of something new. So let's build it together.
Graham Plattner, for example, this week has been the subject of great controversy over this tattoo on his chest that seemed to be a Nazi SS tattoo.
Yeah.
He's since had it replaced, but he had it for nearly 20 years and didn't have it replaced. Do you think he should stand down from the race, given Democrats can't afford to be running against Nazis while having someone with a Nazi tattoo on his chest? What's your view?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, honestly. And his explanation for it was he was drunk off of on shore leave in Croatia, got a tattoo in 2007, and he says he didn't know what the tattoo was about. I'm inclined to believe that he didn't know what it was about, and he just got a stupid tattoo.
And finally, we have Christine Pelosi, who is a California Democratic National Committee member and the daughter of Nancy Pelosi. Apparently, she is a potential successor. And again, her job is to cure ballots in California.
And that's why I'm so happy to join with so many of you from across the country to keep getting the word out about the dangers posed by this administration in Washington and the work that we can do in our communities to fight back in the courts, in the communities, and yes, by electing a new Congress next year. So today, with great pride and honor, I am announcing my run for re-election to the Democratic National Executive Committee, and I hope to have your vote. Thank you. My life, my love is curing ballots with my friends. I can't wait to get on the road again. I'm off to the Central Valley to cure ballots in California 13. Join me, mobilize.us/Team Pelosi.
Yeah, so my point is this. Nancy Pelosi's retirement doesn't really matter to me because ultimately, at the end of the day, another far-left lunatic, probably somebody more far-left than her, is going to replace her in Congress, right? That is a certainty at this point, okay? We're just going to get rid of Pelosi, who, again, was a pain in the ass, and just replace her with somebody that's even more far left. Maybe, just maybe, I guess the good part about it is that Nancy Pelosi, her quote-unquote leadership won't be there, right? Maybe she still will be available to Democrats to call on and talk to give them advice on insider trading, right? And political strategy. But other than that, man, I mean, it doesn't really change much, okay? Again, I'm not going to sit here and be one of these people that pretends like, again, she was a good person, that she was great, that she did so much for this country. Nah, I'm not doing that. I feel the exact same way President Trump feels. And ultimately, in the day, she's just going to be replaced with a more far-left lunatic because the far left of the Democrat Party, they're taking over, okay? And I'm pretty sure the most far-left person, right, in that race is probably going to win because, again, it's San Francisco, one of the most far-left areas of this country. So, you know, that's what we're going to get. We're just going to get a more radical lunatic. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.